Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Transforming Teams AI-powered and premium features. We are absolutely thrilled to have you with us here today. And my name is Peter McKiernan, and I am Vice President of Product Marketing at Fusion Connect. And with me is Terry Corder, our Vice President of Product Management. And today we're going to talk about unlocking the full potential of Microsoft Teams and specifically using the premium features and AI capabilities it has that can truly reshape how we work. These range from intelligent meeting recaps to real-time AI-generated insights. So we're going to explore how these tools can help us focus on what matters most. And of course, what's really important, get more done. So we will demo several real-world scenarios. We're going to discuss rollout strategies, and we'll touch on licensing and security. And most importantly, this is an interactive session. So please bring your questions and ideas. There's a Q&A button on your toolbar, and we have some people backstage that can help answer questions or flag them for Terry and I. So with that, let's dive in and see how we can transform the way Microsoft Teams works. I think it's safe to say that everyone has used Teams at least once since it launched in 2017. But it is a dynamic product and new features are always being added. And that brings us to Microsoft Teams Premium. Teams Premium builds on the current Teams capabilities and adds features that make your collaboration more secure, more intelligent, and more engaging. Teams Premium includes several built-in and automated AI capabilities specific to Teams, and these can streamline how you begin to harness the power of AI to get the most out of your collaboration and meeting experiences. But it's also a great way for organizations that are interested in deploying AI assistants like Microsoft 365 Copilot to get started on their AI journey.
It
And you can
really
think
is.
of, sorry about?
No, I was just saying it really is. I mean, so many people are out there. Everybody hears Copilot, they hear AI, they hear all of the latest things, and they want to be on that train, but you can't just throw them out there and let them loose on your network. So
Mhm.
Teams Premium is such a great way to step into that, to actually take that first baby step. So
Yep. And I know that that's one of the ways we've done it here at Fusion Connect. So
yeah.
we'll get the opportunity to share some of the things that we've learned along the way. And Copilot is integrated across the Microsoft 365 suite. So we are going to look at many of the ways that many of the things that that can do for you. So these are just some examples of features that light up when you use Microsoft Teams Premium. Things in order to help you collaborate better, to add richness to your engagement, and a number of features that add protection and management features for meetings that might be a little bit more sensitive topics or require a little bit of extra assurance that they are going to stay within the group that is allowed to see that information. So with that, I'm going to hand things over to Terry, who is going to show us these features in action.
I do appreciate it. So I'm actually going to take over the screen share and I will share, I'm going to share several screens. So I'm actually going to share, I don't ever do this on meetings. I'm going to share my entire screen. So give me just a second. So the first thing I wanted to share is to really show everyone, you know, when you hear Teams Premium and you want to take that first step into it, into AI, into implementing some AI within your calling, Teams Premium is a great way to do that. I pulled up one of the meetings that we had as a prep for this, Peter. It was you and I in this meeting. And I went back and I had transcribed it. I pulled up the meeting notes. So I wanted to look at the AI meeting notes. It gives a large set of notes here. So we have great feature and function. It gives a bunch of the follow-up tasks. And within these notes, you can expand it, and it really goes in deeply on what the note is, where it actually came from. You can also look at chapters, and it sets chapters within the meeting so that, oh, we wanted to talk about smart places, and this is exactly where it is in that meeting. So just those first couple of little feature and functions that Teams Premium offers to step you into your AI journey is really, really beneficial. And all you have to have for this is transcription turned on. So you don't have to record, but you do have to transcribe your meeting, and you get all of these features. Now, something else that Microsoft is launching is Facilitator, and that is coming with Premium and Copilot. Uh, it's actually going to let you follow up on meetings without even having to record the meeting. So it's going to do it live on PSTN. And then at the end of the meeting, it's actually going to just get rid of all of the text. So it'll allow you to use the Copilot features of Teams during the meeting and then wash it away. So that was a great thing that we got to talk about. I was just spent some time out working with Microsoft at their facilities, and really some great things. But the other thing I want to show is we talk about Teams Premium, the notes, the chapters, the voice recognition. Those are great things that everybody knows about. Queues app is one that Microsoft in the past, their Queues environment has been very basic. So they haven't had any real visibility into it. Using the queues was more difficult. You couldn't
And
opt
these
in,
are
opt
calling
out.
queues, right?
Calling queues, absolutely. So it's like a mini call center. I mean, if you just need a queue, you've got 5, 10 people in an organization that need to answer help desk or billing or something like that. And you want to keep track of that, keep people in a queue versus have them leave a voicemail, things like that. Even a small business, it's a great opportunity for them, but it's been difficult to implement in the past. Microsoft has really stepped up their game with Teams Premium and the Queues app. First thing I'm going to show you is an agent experience, and then I'm going to show you a supervisor experience. And then I'll hand it over to you to show a few other things. If we're looking at the agent experience in Queues app, it actually gives us the opportunity. I'm going to be this agent, Rita Taylor. And as you see, I'm opted out. So I'm not currently in a queue. I can see how many calls we have waiting, what our average wait time. Looks like we got a pretty long wait time up there. So maybe it's time for me to opt in. Very simply and easily, I can just hit opt in. I'm now in the call queue, and I'm getting my first call. It's from the our queue that's called Contoso Bank Woodland. So I can answer that call, and I will be placed in this call, be able to take this call, help this customer. But this customer may have said, hey, I really need to talk to this other person, or I may feel like they need to talk to another person. So directly out of this queue, I can transfer this call right over. Let's say Aaron Buxton is actually who they should be talking to. I can transfer that call straight out to Aaron, and I'm back and ready to take my next call. Or say we missed a call. Somebody called and they did get to the voicemail and left a message. I see that I have a not resolved call here. If I click on it, it's going to show me the voicemail details. Looks like Maria called, calling about her personal banking information, needs some clarification, gave me a callback number. So what I can actually do is just click here to call, and I'm in 2 queues right now. So many agents will work in multiple queues. This gives me the opportunity to choose which queue I'm calling from, and that's the phone number that Maria sees. So she's comfortable. She knows it's the bank calling her back. I'm back in that call with Maria. I'm able to assist her, do everything we need, and then we can just leave. So really, that's the agent experience at its most basic. It really has become a very simple experience for the agents. I can then opt back out, and I am logged out of my queue. So let's look at what the supervisor experience looks like. Within that supervisor experience, it's really just simply the same here. You can see all of the different queues, how they're going, what the service level is. These are my two different queues up here at the top. But I see KO's not logged in. And I know she's sitting at her desk. I know it's time for her to be logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and opt her in. Hey, you're in the queue now. So now she's in the queue, ready to take calls. Additionally, part of my responsibility as a supervisor, and many supervisors have this, is they're supposed to monitor a certain number of calls every day. This is something that Microsoft didn't have before, that now you can go in and actually monitor the calls. So let me go to Rita, and I'm going to click on the three dots, and I can go in and monitor Rita's call. When I monitor it, it brings up the little monitoring window here, and I'm listening directly to her call. I can hear what she's telling the client, what the client's telling her. And if I hear something that I really want to make sure she's aware of, I just hit whisper. Hey, Rita, keep in mind to point out our 5-point service guarantee because it's top in the industry. So now Rita has heard me, her client didn't. She's able to continue to work with that client. They don't know that there was a supervisor helping her. I could actually barge into that call as well if it was something I needed to interject myself into. There's also a take over the call, so I could take over the call. But I'm not going to do either one of those. I just wanted to listen, give her a recommendation, and I'm going to end my monitoring session. Another great feature is the analytics portion. This was not something that was really in-tuned before. Meant to say in-tuned, so because you're going to use Intune to roll a lot of this out. But this is not something that was here necessarily or as clean to look at. I couldn't see my abandoned calls very well. I've got call volume, my average time in the auto attendant, all of these great features and functions. I can then even go into the historical, see more historical features of what the calls were, and you can set these up. You're going to set up, hey, did they come in with speech? Did they use DTMF? How did they search? What were some of the call counts? So these are all great features. I can go look at each of my queues, and in that queue, I can actually adjust the settings right here in the Teams app. So in that bank queue, I'm going to go to the settings, and here I can edit the people that are in the queue. I can change the call handling. I can allow other people to opt out of taking calls. So really, we've put the functionality of queues, Microsoft has put the functionality of queues right here in the Teams client. It's actually a great solution for those small to medium call centers. So I think you had something you wanted to share as well.
Yep. Let me take over here. Go back to our PowerPoint. And so one of the things that I wanted to show that's hard to demo, and you'll see why in a second, is live translations for meeting captions. And we've all heard the term language barrier, and when you don't have a common language with the colleagues or the customers that you're talking to, it can be a real unbreakable barrier that makes working with them really impossible. And so one of the most exciting Teams features is live translations because it really breaks that barrier. And it's not something I have the language skills to demo. So I'm going to play a video and let's take a look at that.
And that is a great
And
feature, Peter.
it is. And if I take myself on mute, you'll hear me talk about it a lot louder. But I always do that at least once during every webinar. Um, that's really amazing technology to me because I've worked on several projects that have involved coordinating efforts between lots of locations around the globe. And something like this would have made it significantly easier. And customers that I was working with would have been significantly happier. So I think that's a big step forward and something that just wasn't possible before.
Absolutely. It's something that has really brought the world together to work more closely together. Microsoft is all about working together and all of us working together in one cohesive unit, and they've really stepped it up with this feature.
Yep. Um, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my next demo and then I'll hand it back to you.
Absolutely.
So we talked a little bit about Copilot, and
Oh, yeah.
Terry's going to show you how Copilot is really inculcated into a lot of the different Microsoft 365 or Office apps that we're all used to. But there's also a standalone 365 app, and this is the work version. So if you notice up here at the top, it says work and then web. And if you choose web, you get the same experience that you would get online just through this client. But what I'm looking at here is the work version. And you'll see all the different things that it can do here. And the prompt that I've entered is to help me get to prepare for this meeting. And go ahead and show you what happens next. It has found the meeting on my calendar, even though I didn't type in the exact meeting name. And it's giving me all the information I need to prepare in terms of supporting materials, background information, and what have you. So the other thing that it can do is suggest things. So I'm going to go here to the Ask button and choose Help me come up with a great opening line. And if you remember where we started 15 minutes ago, it included many of the ideas that you're seeing here. So if you enjoyed that introduction, we can give some of the credit to Microsoft 365 Copilot. And this is just one set of capabilities that it has. I use it every day to help me prepare for meetings, to help me find emails, to remind me of tasks and things that I have to do. And it makes me significantly more productive.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, ultimately, any AI assistant is there to make us all so much more productive. That's something that we all really look at doing and want to do. So I'm going to share my screen again, if that's okay. I want to show
Yep.
M365 Copilot in action in a couple of different tools. I'm going to show it to you in Teams itself. Then I'm going to show it to you in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, how it integrates all of those into Copilot and how Copilot assists with those. And then we'll go back and show something similar to what you just showed. So let me share. And I am sharing that screen. So I think we're ready to go. So inevitably, I get double and triple booked on meetings. I know everybody on here does. And when you're running late to a meeting, the last thing you want to do is hop into that meeting and then have to ask people, hey, catch me up. What have I missed? What have we covered? They might as well have held the meeting until you got there. You don't want to pull somebody off to the side because then they're not an active participant of that meeting. So what we've done is Copilot really allows you to catch up on a meeting and become a productive part of that meeting very, very quickly. So I was running late to this. I'm going to hit Copilot and I'm going to ask it to, hey, Copilot, recap this meeting for me so far. What it's going to do is it's going to go out, it's going to look at the transcript of the meeting, and then it's going to generate what's been talked about so far. They've talked about renewable energy times, recycle and bio packaging, inventory and demand. So now I've got a few ideas of some of the things that were discussed in the meeting prior to me joining. So how's this team feel about that inventory status? Because that's something, the inventory is the last thing there. It's been kind of a pain point. So how does the team feel about that? It checks the sentiment of the people, looks at how they discussed it. It's telling me that they've got mixed feelings about it. So all of this is being done by Copilot while the meeting's still going, and I'm able to listen to them and read these notes at my own speed to catch up on this. So what questions are unresolved so far? It's going to go out, it's going to scan those references, and it's going to tell me the questions that haven't been resolved. It's going to give me some suggestions on those. But quite honestly, it's all about being prepared and being a productive member of that team and that meeting without taking anybody else offline. These are some of the great things, and I use these all the time because, like I say, I'm late for meetings because I'll get double and triple booked. I also want to show you what Copilot can do in Outlook. So say we pop into Outlook, and if you're like me, some of your email chains, this one is about 6 people deep, and I'm behind on catching up to it because I've been in those meetings that I've been back to back on. So instead of me reading all the details, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to ask Copilot to summarize this email chain. So all 6 of those emails, it's parsed through them. It's told me what Kevin's doing, that Kevin and Lydia were discussing this, and that Kevin is asking if there's any roof installers that I could recommend. Mm-hmm. So not only does it do that, it has these little links here, like number 1. If I click on that number 1, it's actually going to take me to the point in the email chain where it referenced that. So I did that.
Yeah, and this is something that I use all the time because I'm on the West Coast.
Yep.
And a large number of Fusion Connect people are on the East Coast or in other time zones. And so by the time I'm coming on to work, very often I do have threads in my inbox that are 5, 6, 7 responses deep. And this saves me a ton of time, but it also means I'm less likely to miss something.
Exactly. It really is a great feature. And I use it every day as well. So let's also look, instead of in Outlook, let's go look in Word. So you'll see I'm using the web versions of these, but it works just the same in your regular online version. So I'm in Word. I want to actually create a project based on a specific file. So let me grab a reference file. And I'm going to do the construction planning document. So I'm going to ask it to help build me a project proposal based on that document. Generate it out. It's going to read that document. It's going to evaluate it, and it's going to build me out a project proposal. Construction of a 1 million square foot project, goes through and gives me details. I've got scope, budget, project management, conclusion. And it's going to ask me, do I want to regenerate it, discard it, or keep it? So I'm going to keep this initial proposal. It did a pretty good job. Scroll through, I can see the differences. And maybe I want to go in here and I want to paste something. So let me paste this small piece in here about the BIM, the building information modeling. Now, I don't just want to paste that. I want Copilot to help me expand on that. So I really need some inspiration with that. So if I click Copilot, it has an option here, Inspire Me. What it's going to do is it's going to read through this section. It's going to know I'm talking about the building information modeling. And it's actually going to start working on a draft around the BIM. And it's going to add more details. It added 3 full paragraphs of information. I'm going to keep it. And I can look through that data, read through it, do what's called evaluate the hallucinations. So a lot of times, and I know you've heard that, Peter, when Copilot goes out, it reads things and it interprets them as best it can in the large language model. So we always want to know that we need to look at what was written and make sure it's right for what we're trying to say. So weed out those hallucinations that might be there. How about PowerPoint? Copilot and PowerPoint, it's they have been tweaking this and working on it and working on it. So say I want to take a similar document to that. I want to go in and I want to take a Word document and I want to transform it into a PowerPoint where I don't have to sit and try to paste every page on there and create more pages in PowerPoint. So I can just pick this file and I can tell it to transform that file into Copilot. And it's going to go out there into PowerPoint, I'm sorry. It's going to evaluate that document. It's going to apply finishing touches and changes. And as you can see, it put an entire deck together for me at a high level. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to edit that deck. I'm going to make changes. Designer did a lot of that. Copilot with AI did that. So it really is beneficial. Last thing or one of the last things in the product suite, I want to show Excel. So this has really been beneficial. I've gone out, I'm sure everybody here has, and looked up formulas or how to do certain things in Excel. And it's kind of a pain to find them, paste them in, translate them into the right columns and rows that you have. So if I'm working on this document and I said, you know what, I don't like the zeros, the change on those files. So let me get started here and let's not show the decimal points for any of the sales amounts. So instead of me going in and trying to change these, it evaluates the document and it removes all of the decimal points. So now I've actually created the document the way I like it, but I really need to know, hey, any of my gross sales numbers that are over 500,000. Keep in mind, I said gross. It's going to go out, it's going to read the column headers, and it's going to check only the gross sales, not the net, and it's going to highlight those. I don't know about you, but I'm horrible at conditional formatting rules. And Copilot went in and told me exactly how to do it and didn't just tell me, it actually did it. It created that conditional formatting for me. And I can always undo it if I don't like what it's done.
What's interesting to me about these features with Microsoft 365 apps is, we looked at Teams and how it can directly make meetings more efficient by either giving you a quick recap when you join or giving you like digital artifacts of that meeting, right? That really turn that into an online asset.
Right.
But what I'm seeing here is a number of things that are the things that you bring into those meetings, right? Like this is how you make those meetings more effective by making the people more effective, helping them present more quickly and with richer slides, and also being able to communicate what's important about this information that we're seeing on the screen to everybody else in the meeting.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes it so much more clear to the people that I'm presenting to. And if I can do this and be prepared, it makes it so much easier. Like the insights for the data. Mm-hmm. I'm not good at building charts and graphs and things like that for this type of data, but I can ask Copilot to go in and do some insights for that data. And it's actually going to create a set of insights. Oh, that's a neat graph. Instead of me adding just that one, I'm going to tell it to add all of the insights to a new sheet so that I can go and look at all of them that it gave me. So it actually will go in, create a new sheet, and put several different insights showing me net sales by customer, my customers that have had the noticeably higher sales, and then those gross sales by date. We always like to see it go up and to the right. We know that's for sure. So, I mean, it's just a great option. I do want to show one more thing back in Teams. So within Teams, many people will note that there is a Copilot in Teams now. That this kind of goes through all of your messaging. It's like the Copilot that you showed us earlier, Peter, where it was preparing you for the meeting. Well, this is very similar within Teams. And I can go in here and ask it for, as an example, the upcoming milestones for a project we're working on together. So we're collaborating in Teams. All our files are in there. So give me the milestones for that. It's going to go out and search through all of the history that we've got in chats, and it's going to give me those 4 milestones. I can also go in and ask it for the risks that are still there. When I do that, it looks within the files that we've actually communicated with. You'll see it referenced a risk mitigation file and a project plan, and it gave me the 3 primary risks that are going on that project. I can even ask it to suggest the mitigation points out of that plan, and it's going to go back and give me those mitigation points. So really great features, lets me project manage together. And then I can have it write me an email. Hey, write an email outlining those risks and everything for my team. It goes through and searches that. It prepares that email talking about the 3 primary risks. As you can see here, it has who it's to, a subject, me talking to the team as a whole. Lets me look through all of that and be prepared. So it's really a great option for me to have here. And then I can even go so far as to have it build a SWOT analysis. It gives me all of the details from strengths and weaknesses to opportunities and threats. And you'll notice these little icons here. Those are the references, and it's telling me where it pulled those. It pulled this out of SharePoint. So it referenced a file that was in SharePoint that deals with this project, and it brought that detail into my meeting. It let me see in Copilot, hey, this is where we're communicating overall. It really makes it just very beneficial.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one thing that I think is important about this is that it's pulling information from your internal company resources,
correct.
and it's not it's not pulling those, from the internet. This is applying the Copilot technology and the AI technology that you are probably using or at least playing with from public websites to your actual corporate information. And that comes with some upsides and some downsides, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take back over here real quick and give me just 1 second. And before we dive into that, I just wanted to quickly present a couple things that we didn't have a chance to talk about today just because of time and some logistics. One of the more interesting features of Teams Premium are protected meetings. And we all know that sometimes meetings are about very sensitive things. And while it's sometimes obvious when those things are, sometimes you want to make it extremely obvious that these are sensitive topics that should not be shared and really control things. So protected meetings allows you to control whether or not people can record the meeting, whether or not people can take screenshots. It
That's new.
watermarks all of the information.
Yeah, that screenshot is new. The Microsoft
Yeah.
just rolled it out where you can mark these as sensitive and not allow screenshots, which is a really great feature. If you're presenting pricing to a client or something like
Hmm.
that, and you don't want your prices to get out there in the wild, set your meeting when you set it up, set it as a private meeting and don't allow screenshots. And
Hmm.
now you have the ability to keep people from capturing the screen.
Yeah, and I think that's like important to note. I could still take a picture of my screen with a physical cell phone, but what it also does is it prevents any sort of malware from exploiting that as a way to capture things that are happening on your local machine.
Screen scrapes, things like that. Exactly.
Yep. Um, the other one that I played with a little bit is virtual appointments. And what these are, if you've ever seen the Bookings app, where you can, You can go and you can book an appointment. And if you have a team of people that are going to be fielding those requests, whether it's a team of salespeople or support people or IT help desk folks, it will find the person whose calendar is open at that time, set up the appointment, set up the Teams call, and then at the appointed time, send them a text reminder and let them know that the meeting is starting, and they can join that meeting even if Teams isn't installed on their device, whether that's a phone or whether that's a PC. And my team internally has been using this for what we call office hours,
There you
right?
go.
We have a very, very large sales force, and sometimes they are um, under the gun and looking for something specific. And, maybe they are driving to their next appointment or sitting in an airport. And this allows them to get in touch with us, find the people on the team that are available, and get those things knocked out really quickly. And if you're using this for something like a help desk or maybe a business like a salon or an accountant during tax season, those types of things, you do get metrics on all of those interactions with customers and allows you to manage those better. And then the last one I wanted to talk about here are advanced webinars and town halls. So we are using the advanced webinar feature right now.
Easy for you to
And
say.
yeah, exactly. When you registered for this meeting, you went to a website. That website was generated by Teams. The information that the fields that we captured when you registered, those were defined by us. But again, the website was created by Teams, and then it goes right into a number of different ways that you can either integrate that with your CRM system, with something like HubSpot or Salesforce, or just dump the information in an Excel file.
Right.
So these are really cool. And if you are interested in them, just give us a shout and we're happy to set up a demo for you. But now I wanted to loop back and talk a little bit about how you deploy these things. And so, remember, we're talking about two separate licenses, one for Teams Premium and one for Copilot for 365. And we created this handy flow chart for really how to get started and some of the decisions you make as you go on this journey.
Right. Yeah, everybody.
Oops.
Oh, it's all right.
Sorry.
So many people, AI has been the buzzword for a couple of years now. Everybody wants to get started with AI. But that first question, do you want to get started with Copilot? For a lot of people, that answer is no. And even if it's a yes, there is time that you have to set aside for Copilot. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But if it's just not yet on Copilot, it's a big undertaking, it's a higher cost license, then honestly, the opportunity is there to on-ramp with Teams Premium to start getting some of those basic AI features. I know I have both on my PC. I use both of them every day. But I can get those meeting notes, the chapters within my meeting recaps, the ability to start seeing sentiment of my people in the meetings. Those are things that come with Teams Premium and that can get me started. I feel like everybody that runs meetings on a daily basis, if you have meetings that you run with your clients, Teams Premium is a must. You really have to have Premium because it's going to give you that AI intro. It's going to give you the basic steps. And then once you're ready, if you've got Teams Premium, you've done all of that, or even if you don't get Teams Premium, we've done this part here at the bottom to collaborate, build it out, reduce those costs, have a lesser cost AI experience. Then when you are ready to take advantage of AI throughout your entire suite, that's when we're going to go back and revisit that Copilot for that yes answer. And we're going to help you get that answer. And I think our next three questions are really about once you get to that answer, what do you have to look at?
And these are some of the things that I know that you brought up after running our internal deployment on on these technologies here inside of Fusion Connect. And the first one that you called out was getting exec buy-in. Why is that important?
So Fusion Connect, like any other company, we have our C-suite, we have our CRO, and then we have our chief of security as well. We have our VPs of security. They have to buy into deploying Copilot because you don't want to just turn it on and then have people be able to get into Copilot and go out and search every piece of your network. And that's the first concern that a security team or a CIO or someone like that is going to have is how much data am I really opening up to everybody in my company? I don't want a new hire to go in and type, hey, give me all of the C-suite's salaries, and it be something that somebody in HR was working on in a private document, or tell me the medical history of this person, and somebody had typed that into a document. Hopefully they've never done that, but you don't want to do that. So part of it is explaining to your executive team, no, we're not just going to let this loose into the wild. Let's step into it. Let's look at Teams Premium first, get those licenses going, get people used to using AI, and see where in the organization it's going to be most beneficial. A lot of people think, oh, well, let's give it to the execs to buy into it. They'll like it and it'll be shiny for a day or two, but if they're not the ones running the meetings day in and day out, they may not find it as beneficial as maybe an administrative assistant or a salesperson or a project manager that are running those. So target the right people and then have them help you get that exec buy-in. And then the way that you then do it is, I'm going to skip the second one and go to the third one, that readiness assessment. When you're doing that, you then tell the execs, hey, we need to perform a network readiness assessment. And that's actually done by Microsoft. We would facilitate that, and then we would evaluate that assessment with you. But we're not the ones that have to do it. Microsoft's going to do it. They're going to work with you. It's going to evaluate your network, and there's going to be recommendations. You need to ensure all your files are tagged with the correct security levels. That was something we had to make sure was done within our organization, is we want to make sure everything's secure, that confidential files are tagged appropriately, that more public files are tagged as such as well. So that's a part of this, is that assessment is done, evaluated, and then remediation steps have to be made. So really that assessment is just the first step, and then you go through the other steps, which is why I said when we looked at flow chart, even if the answer is yes on Copilot, you may go ahead and do Teams Premium to get things started, to get that taste, and then you go Copilot. And that's where you really choose your version of the license. Are you going to license Premium? Are you going to license Copilot? And which Copilot? Microsoft has 20 some odd Copilots out there now. So it really is, everything is named Copilot, but they've come to a unified name with that. And you just have to choose the one that's right for you. For me, Microsoft 365 Copilot, it's a great option. It's the one that people are most used to. And it's, I think, the one that people land on for that enterprise license.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that experience. I know that we are at time, so I want to be respectful of everyone's day. But I do also want to take a few questions. So I'm going to ask the folks backstage if we've had any questions come in while we have been drawn away here.
Hi, Pete. So we have two questions. The first one is, do you have to buy Teams Premium for everybody, or can you mix and match?
You can mix and match licenses. So I have the Teams Premium license. That's what gives me the ability to set up these types of webinars and enjoy the other features. But not everyone inside of Fusion Connect has that. And it is, I think, most appropriate for people that do a lot of meetings, that do a lot of knowledge work. But some of these features, admittedly, are not going to be a great investment for everyone.
Right. And you, Pete, probably would not use the Qs app. So that feature of Premium, which is built in, it's part of the default cost, which is not overly high, is something you wouldn't use, but it's there and available. So you may have people using Teams Premium for the Qs app portion, some using it for the meetings portion, the webinars, town halls, some of them just for the AI generated notes. There are a lot of great features there in Premium, and you don't have to add it to every single person. If you have 1,000 people in your company and you only want to add it to 150, not a problem. That's a great way to go. Make sure you get it to the right people that truly will benefit from it. And then do the same thing with Copilot. You don't have to deploy Copilot to your entire organization. You can deploy it just to the people that are going to be using it.
Awesome. Our second question is, how long does a readiness assessment take?
And that's kind of a trick question. So a readiness assessment can take anywhere from a week to several weeks. And like I said before, the assessment is just that first step. So we're going to work with you and with your Microsoft team. We have a great team that interacts with Microsoft every single day. As I said, I was just out and spent a week at their headquarters last week working with the team on Teams and calling stuff. So honestly, we have a great team here. They will get you started, get you nominated for the assessment. Microsoft will come back with that assessment, and then we'll work with you and sit down and go through what all needs to be done and what the recommendations are for that next step. Take your remediation tasks. We'll help you with those where we can. And then ultimately, we're ready to help you implement those licenses.
Awesome. Well, I'd encourage people to hit that Q&A button at the top of the screen and ask me questions. If we didn't get a chance to ask your question, or if maybe it's a little bit too specific to your organization, feel free to just reach out to us and ask us directly, and then we're happy to set up some time to dig into those things.
Absolutely. And thank you all for attending today. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your time and putting your time forward here with Fusion Connect. And hopefully we can help. We've given you a little bit of insight into the AI framework and how to move forward with it.
Absolutely. Great. Well, again, I'm going to say thank you and wish everybody a great day.
Everybody have a great day. Thank you.